Hey everybody, it's Lori with the Catch a Pocket Podcast. Thanks everybody for listening so far. We've gotten a lot of shares out there. I'm trying to put everything on YouTube as well, but I've taken a little break here. If you haven't noticed, probably didn't. But I've taken a little break and kind of recollected and thought I needed a little bit of rest over the holiday season, which I've done, and hibernation is now over. So, back to work. Let's get some good guests on here. Tonight, episode 19, I think is an excellent guest. His name is Wayne Gottstine. He's an awesome guitar player. He is a guitar god of Wichita, one of them. And he is just an exceptional human being. It's my pleasure to be his friend, and I'm very honored that he came on to the show and shared a little bit of himself with you. I hope you guys enjoy it and catch a pocket with him. I'm going to start the episode tonight with a song from the latest Split Lip album, On My Way, and the song is called All Alone. Give it a listen, and then keep on listening to the interview with me and Wayne Gottstine. Thanks.
Look on out my little window. I watch creeps go walking down my street. I follow them until they're scared and running. I whisper evil sentiments, I float them on the wind. All alone, here in the night, out in the darkness, just playing tricks on my mind. All alone, it ain't right. Spend so much time in my own little world. Place where many evil deeds I've done. Skipped a stone or two across the water. Dug up some of the bones that I had buried in her bed. All alone, here in the night, out in the darkness, just playing tricks on my mind. All alone, it ain't right. Spend so much time in my own little world. Evil bastard, as I slept alone under the stars, it seemed the world's a debt of pain I owed him. When I left him, he was floating face down in the tub. All alone, here in the night, out in the darkness, just playing tricks on my mind. All alone, it ain't right. Spent so much time in my own little world.
Okay, so we're here with Wayne Gottstine from Split Lip Rayfield, and let's just start with the beginning. As a child, were you born here in Wichita?
I was actually born in Wichita, in between the assassination of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy.
Wow, that's a really difficult time in in history for everyone.
I just read a book last year about 1968 and the turmoil that was happening. It was
the race riots and all that stuff.
just a crazy year. The Tet Offensive.
It's crazy how all that stuff kind of, it's like a combustion happened at that point in time. Yeah, it's really interesting to me. And right now we're celebrating the moon landing.
Yeah, 50th year. So I was, like 14 months old when we landed on the moon. So I don't remember. But looking back and seeing all the news, it was, incredible in that time during all that turmoil.
Right.
That all these people came together for this fantastic achievement.
It is a fantastic achievement. It's really interesting to me. Actually, because it came up, I decided to, become a member of KPTS, and I never was before, but that way I could get the passport and watch all the shit. So I'm a nerd. So there you go.
That's fantastic.
So you were born in Wichita, and it was during a really pivotal time in America, just changing of cultures. And did you go to elementary school at one or several elementaries?
I went to several elementary schools. I went to Payne Elementary first, where I was known as Wayne the Payne.
Wayne the Payne at Payne.
Yeah, because we lived a block away, and I was a crazy child. I would tell people, I would go talk to strangers.
Okay.
I would tell them my dad's an astronaut.
Was he an astronaut?
He was definitely not an astronaut.
Okay, good. Okay. I was going to say.
Then I would also, stand on my porch when they, this is when I was like 4, before I went to school. And the kids would be
going to school,
coming back from school.
Okay.
But I was a late sleeper then, too.
Even now?
I've always been a night person.
Good.
I would stand on the porch and yell at them, and my mom would say, "You have to go to school with these kids next year." I was like, so the first year I got beat up a lot.
Oh, okay.
And
you took it for all the shit you talked when you were when they were coming home.
But I dished some out too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. So.
And so then after several schools in Payne, being probably the one you stayed at the longest, Payne.
Well, I was there at Payne for 3 years. Then I went to McCollum Elementary, which was my best elementary school experience.
Yeah, McCollum, that's a cool
McCollum,
school.
yeah. My 4th grade teacher was Mrs. Johnson.
It was 4th grade, so...
Yeah, 3rd and 4th grade. And, she was the first teacher to be like, "Hey, you're a good speller."
Well, she encouraged you, so she kind of
brought keep on spelling.
All right. Are you still a good speller?
I'm a reasonable speller.
Good. That's good for her and you. So then, junior high schools. Did you move away? Did you stay?
No, I went to Mayberry Junior High all 3 years.
Okay.
And my idol there was Coach Morgan.
He
was a fantastic coach.
What did he teach? I mean, he was your PE.
He was my gym teacher.
Okay.
And he was the track coach. I was on the track every year.
Cool. Yeah, I like track.
He was the basketball coach, although I never made the team. I was never a great basketball player, but I was a good runner.
Yeah. Well, running is nice because you get out. It hurts so bad that you get out of your head sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what I find. So then in high school, did you go to...
I went to West.
West High. Wow, West. The Pioneers.
Yes, for 1 year, and then we moved to the country. We moved to Atlanta, Kansas.
Where's that?
And then it's 15 miles northeast of Winfield Lake.
Okay.
So cool. I went to Central of Burden.
And how was that? That was high school?
Yeah, that was my last 2 years of high school.
So did you enjoy that a lot then?
It was kind of fun. It took a while for people to get used to me because I was this crazy city kid. I went from...
Very urban.
West High, where we had... 400 people in my class.
Sure.
And then I went to Central Burden, which I graduated with 22 people.
Wow.
And to get those 22 people, that school district, it's like 60 miles long.
Oh, wow.
It had, kids from
like
Wilmot,
these 5 and these 5.
Atlanta,
wow.
Cambridge, Granola, Burden.
To get the, how many?
22 graduating.
Oh, wow. So
class.
You didn't even go to school with all your graduating class. You just graduated with them all in the one area, right?
We all went to the same school.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But they were like living in outlier areas
Yeah,
too.
everybody was spread out over 50
Okay.
or 60 miles.
Wow.
So
So that's cool. It brings you like a closer together, sort of, because you're in every class together.
exactly. Yeah, there were, there was a little bit of variety. And I actually spent my junior and senior year on the yearbook staff. So that was my first class of the day, followed by graphic design,
Okay.
which was in the same room,
That's cool.
followed by art, which was in the same room. So
That's great. So you were artistic then. Did you play the guitar then, or
I started playing guitar when I was about 10.
when you were 10?
Yeah.
Who got you your first guitar?
My mom got me a
She got
cheap
you.
little guitar. And
Yeah. You started plunking away. Was it electric or acoustic?
It was acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you first started playing, did you play just regular rock songs you were hearing on the radio, or?
Well, I got it and I plunked around for a little while, and then I got involved with these two kids when I was going to Mayberry, Terry Henry and David Kilgore, who are both still playing music around here.
Yeah, I've heard of David Kilgore.
And we had a little band, the Country Aces.
Country Aces.
So I learned a lot from those two guys.
Cool.
The first song I learned was Sloop John B. by
Nice.
the Beach Boys.
Cool. I like
And
the
then
Beach Boys.
Proud Mary, and eventually, we kind of worked up a 12, 15 song set.
Okay, so that was here in Wichita. So when you were playing pretty much when you were out there, moved to the country then.
I was practicing all the time then because
Right.
after school, which I never missed school because that's where the people were.
Because there weren't any people
Yeah,
anywhere
because
else.
we lived 2.5 miles away from Atlanta, so our nearest neighbor was like a mile away.
Wow,
and
yeah.
she was 90, so she didn't want to hang out with me much.
Can you blame her?
But yeah, so I practiced a lot of guitar in my,
Right.
teenage years.
So you were
my-
just in the room with the guitar and an amp or something and playing some songs, or did you graduate to an electric by then?
yeah, I had an electric by then,
Okay.
and
So you were getting in the major rock.
yeah, I was getting into rock, but I've always liked all different kinds of things. Even when I was a teenager, I liked Willie Nelson, but then I also liked Iron Maiden.
Cool. Yeah, me too.
I had little makeshift bands that, like every like homecoming and school event like that, they would have these talent shows.
Sure.
Like every 3 months or so, and so I'd put together a band
For the talent
for
show.
those talent shows.
And put a couple songs together.
We'd put some songs together, and
Yeah.
we would rock out. And a lot of times I was in all girl bands except for me. I
Yeah,
had this
cool.
great drummer, Hillary Jenkins, would play drums, and this girl, Dallas Van Sickle, who was the art teacher's daughter, she played keyboard. She was a real good piano player.
That's cool. That sounds like a cool band.
So we would learn,
Drums, keyboard, and a guitar.
Yeah.
3-piece.
Yeah, that way, she could do the bass line on the keyboards.
Sure.
And
That's really cool.
so we'd work up 3 or 4 songs, and
Did you ever win?
well, it wasn't a contest, but yes.
It
It
you
wasn't
won.
a contest, but we won.
Totally won.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your heart you won, or you just won?
We just
Yeah.
won.
You walked
And
away.
then, really, my first exposure to bluegrass was back then, and one of the talent shows. Me and a kid, Kirk Womack. He was a fine banjo player as a teenager, and we ended up like my senior year doing a couple of songs together for those.
Were you flat picking?
I was kind of flat picking,
Yeah,
as
like makeshift flat picking.
makeshift flat picking. Yeah.
Okay. Like you didn't, not traditional. You didn't
Mostly,
have someone show you how. You
he
just
was
kind of,
well, I just played the rhythm part, and because
he
he
was-
was doing the band, we did like Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Oh, okay.
And he was a fine banjo player, so I was I've
were
always
just
been happy
keeping
just to
rhythm.
play rhythm if that's what I needed to do.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so you got into kind of opened the door for bluegrass, and so then after high school, you graduated. Did you go on to college?
I went to Cali County Community College.
Okay.
I got a journalism scholarship,
Cool.
and
You were a writer for the paper or something?
for this magazine, The Pulse,
Okay.
we put out this like monthly magazine. And I was the photography editor.
You liked photography? Do you
Yeah.
still?
I still do.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a dark room or used
Right.
black and white film in a long time.
Me either. I like that.
I really did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did that, and that actually led to my second real bluegrass experience was I went to go cover the Walnut Valley Festival.
Oh, cool. So you went to the Walnut Valley as a journalist.
As a journalist.
Okay.
For the first time. So the first time I go there, I have a press pass, a photo pass. So the very first time I go there, I am this far from Doc Watson.
Get out. That's so cool.
One of the pictures I took of Doc Watson was in the National Collegiate Contest, and I got a second place with that.
That's sweet.
And so,
did he give you a lot of inspiration while you're there?
Well, I was pretty impressed with him.
Yeah, I would say. He's pretty impressive.
But I spent this whole day down in the photo pit, and it was Doc Watson, and it was Newgrass Revival.
Awesome.
And it was Hot Rise, which then later turned into...
Tim O'Brien.
They went backstage and came back out as Red Knuckle on the Trail,
Knuckles,
which I was totally blown away.
That's cool, yeah.
By those guys. And I was like, well, this bluegrass music.
That's cool, though, that you went and saw... You covered the Walnut Valley Festival when it was at its, I think, premium musically for the bands coming in.
Yeah, for the stage shows.
Yeah, the stage shows. Yeah.
Mike Cross was playing.
Yeah.
And he was a witch.
Right.
I don't know if you remember Mike Cross.
I don't.
He did solo shows, and he would put this microphone on the ground and use that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like that stuff.
As the drums.
Right.
Or as his beat.
Right.
And he was very impressive. So I went back the next year, and then I discovered the
Pecan Grove?
The Pecan Grove.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And so...
It's a whole nother thing.
Spent all night after I took my pictures and worked on my story or whatever, and then I brought a guitar this time. I didn't the first time.
You just were working the first time. I was just working.
I didn't know anything about it.
But you got the fever.
And then, ended up jamming all night and just quitting school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Just quitting Cali and saying, wait a minute.
I'm done with this.
I'm ready to start a band.
I'm just going to start playing guitar.
Yeah. So then from
I had bands going when I was at Cal. Not bands going. But I did this weekly blues jam that I would go to. I don't know if you remember Robert Dorman. Mm-hmm. He was kind of my guitar mentor.
Okay.
Because he lived in Guida Springs.
Okay.
And he was very encouraging, and he would come pick me up and take me to the blues jams night at the Wagon Wheel in Ark City.
Whoa.
And so I did that the entire time that I was down there. So I was playing lots of guitar.
And you were still living there in Ark City, or?
I was living in Ark City.
Yeah.
Then I got a construction job in Winfield, so I moved to Winfield.
Okay. And you stayed there for how long?
2 years.
And you worked and went to the Bluegrass?
Yeah, I poured concrete and practiced guitar.
And went and jammed at the Wagon Wheel?
Yes, until they closed down and they got new owners. And
right.
They didn't continue the
blues jam night?
Yeah.
Well, blues is cool, so...
Well, it's accessible. It's a good way to cut your teeth on learning guitar and playing with other people.
Sounds really cool. You can make faces with it.
You can make lots of faces.
Totally.
It's mostly about faces.
It is. To me, it is. But, God, I'm sorry. That's terrible. Okay, so then you moved to Wichita?
Actually, after, I practiced a lot of guitar, my teenage years and the college action. Mm-hmm. Then I thought, I'm going to go to California.
California. Okay, This sounds like a good story. Let's hear it.
It was a failure.
Oh, well, most of them are. So you go to California, what part? L.A.?
First I ended up in El Cajon because I had a family member that lived in El Cajon.
Yeah.
And since she might be listening to this, that didn't work out, but she was real sweet to have me.
Yeah.
And
good for you.
Then I had a friend in Long Beach, and I went up to Long Beach, and then, I just brought clothes and my guitar, and so I started going to jam nights.
Okay.
Anywhere I could find in
just
Long
anywhere
Beach
you would
or
see something
anywhere that the bus could take me.
Okay.
Because I didn't have a car, and I had a pair of cowboy boots.
Oh,
my hair was super long.
Okay.
And everybody I met would call me Dorothy, and they were like, I didn't know they had long hairs in Kansas. And I was like, yeah, it's just down the road.
Just me.
Yeah, we also have electricity. We have houses. We have long hair.
Yeah, I know. They don't think.
Yeah.
When you say you're from Kansas, I went to Philadelphia, they would say, what do y'all eat in Kansas?
We
like,
eat
food. Like,
probably the best beef
they're,
around.
They're eating Pizza Hut pizza, and they're asking me what we eat. I'm like, well, actually.
Well, Pizza Hut was originated on the WSU campus.
Right.
So
And
you're eating Wichita food.
Yeah, actually. Anyway.
Actually.
So.
And so I did that. I stayed with this friend and went to all the blues nights where I met this one drummer at a blues night, and he's like, "Hey, I like your stuff, man." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "You write songs?" And I was like, "Hell yes, I do." And so
Awesome.
I go over and jam with his band, and they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, they were criminals.
Uh-oh.
So
Also, they were criminals.
Yeah.
How's this?
Well, so we would do a song, and while we were doing a song, like a couple of degenerates would wander in, and then the drummer would take them into the back room, and then
Deal drugs?
yeah,
Okay.
and so then they would leave. We would jam a song. A couple other people would
It
come
was a
in,
rotating.
yeah, and then they would go to the garage, and he would sell them a VCR
Oh,
because
okay.
he had a stack of 100 VCRs that he had stolen.
He was a robber by day and a drummer by night.
Yeah, and a meth dealer by whenever.
Oh, shit.
And so in this garage, they all lived in this house, and in the garage was all these bicycles that they'd stolen,
Oh, my God.
all these VCRs that they'd.
Right?
It's like, I don't know what the company was, but it was like a Best Buy or something. You know, he's like, and we found this broke down Best Buy truck,
Right.
And we got into it and had like 100 VCRs in it.
Sure.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Broke down.
So I thought, I'm not going to jam with you anymore.
Right.
And
I'm getting ready to go to jail.
I just kind of disappeared. Although they were all good players,
Right.
And we had some fun, and I laid a couple of my tunes on them, and it sounded real good.
Okay.
But I also, didn't want to get caught up in it.
Right. And you could have easily.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hang out, you are who you hang out with, basically.
Exactly.
So,
So I didn't hang out with them. So then I went to some more jam nights, and I went to this acoustic jam night, and I met this other cat, and he was writing his own songs, and I was writing my own songs.
Yeah.
And we got done with the jam night, and he's like, "Come over to my place and let's play some tunes." And I was like, "Hell yes." Well, he lived in a shed
Uh-oh.
behind these people's house, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine to live
And
in
he
a
was
shed.
a real, he was a nice guy. There were no drug deals went down. There was no stolen stuff. He just had this simple little shed. It was clean. He had this little pallet that he slept on, and a couple little chairs. And we had this fantastic jam.
Cool.
Just magic.
Right.
And he was super happy about it. I was happy about it. He was a good singer. We had good harmonies, instantly.
Right.
And
Did you decide to make a band out of that?
well, we had big plans that night, and we had talked it up, and he's like, "Come back Wednesday and let's do it again." I was like, "Definitely."
Yeah.
So I came back Wednesday. I went around back of the house, and then somebody in the house comes out of the back like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm looking for Steve. He doesn't live here anymore." I ran him off, and then so I never found the guy again.
Oh, you never found Steve ever again.
No.
Huh? So that's too bad.
Yeah,
Did you ever find out what happened to Steve?
I never did find out what happened to Steve.
Okay, so then
So-
what happened?
So then, by this point, I'd been in Long Beach for 3 or 4 months and was just having a hell of a time finding a job.
Right.
And
It was hard to find a job.
getting it together, and I was 20. It was
Okay.
pretty dumb.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to,
Talk to people.
well, talking to people was all right, but I couldn't figure out the, how to get a California driver's license, and how
Right.
to, nobody give you a job without a driver's license. And I go to the driver's license place, and I didn't have my birth certificate,
Okay.
and there's all these
Stipulations,
things,
yeah.
And so I had like $100 left.
Right. It was getting slim.
It was getting slim, and I just, rode back.
You could buy a ticket for
To-
$100 or less,
Yeah, Greyhound ticket,
Yeah.
or whatever.
and you came back to Kansas. Did
Yes.
you come back to Wichita?
Actually, I had to go back to my mom's house in Atlanta, and then I got a job putting metal roofs on buildings,
Okay.
which was super fun
Yeah.
because, it was
Slippery and hot.
it was slippery and hot. You could fall off, and
It's very dangerous.
It was, metal roofs are
Yeah.
nice and cool on a summer day.
Sure are.
So I
Known for it.
did that for a summer. Mm-hmm. And
And then hated it, but made money.
yeah, hated it but made money. And then I got some other job at Plaza Rental.
Mm-hmm. Like keeping up with stuff and fixing stuff and cleaning drains.
Party rental supply.
Oh, okay. So you're just delivering tables.
Yeah. So
and
what
stuff
they
like
do
that.
is they hire young people and work them 80 hours a week until they mentally collapse, and then
Okay.
they hire a new one. They pay 'em.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you're getting a big paycheck until you collapse, and then you collapse, and you're done for. Never to be.
When you can never ever want to mess with party rental ever again.
Right.
It was nothing to move like 500 tables in a day and go put up a tent and deliver.
All in
truckloads
one
of-
day.
Yeah, all in one day. Just.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun.
But I was ripped. When I got done working there,
Yeah,
I was in
the best peak physical condition.
super good shape. So I'd been back to Wichita, living in an apartment by myself, but this job was all consuming. And so I didn't really know anybody anymore. All my old high school friends from West, I didn't know where they were.
Right. Yeah.
All that. So riding down the street one day and
On
I
a
see
bicycle or
in my car.
in your car? Okay.
Yeah. And then pulls up next to me, and at the stoplight is Michael Carmody
Oh, cool.
on a motorcycle. And I knew him from Cali County because we both went to Cali County
Sure.
Community
Yeah.
College,
Yeah.
where we didn't get along.
Oh.
I was super uptight, and he was very jittery. And we didn't.
Well, we don't agree all the time either, but
Yeah.
he knows everybody and he knows everything
Yeah.
about anything.
And so I see him, and I was like, "Hey, Michael Carmody." He's like, "Hey, Wayne."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come by my house." And so I did.
Yeah.
We played a little music, and then all of a sudden I was in the Sluggos.
Awesome. There you go.
Well,
And-
they had a gig.
yeah. And they're
and I
selling-
had this PA, and I said, he's like, "We're looking for a PA," and I was like, "Well, I have a PA, but I'll have to be in the band." And so, like, the first real time I played with him
cool.
was at a little house party gig.
Well, good. Lucky for him because you're a pretty damn good player, man.
It worked out
Yeah. So
all right.
that's cool. So then Sluggos lasted for quite some time, a little while, and then from there how did you kind of evolve into other bands and things like that? Where did it go from there?
Well, then next up was Technicolor Head Rush.
Right.
And that was because Sluggos had played shows with Red Lizard. Oh, I left a band out.
Okay. Don't leave the band out, man.
The Dead Sea Pedestrians.
Who was that?
When I was working at Plaza Rental,
Okay.
I had this band from some kids one kid I'd met at Cali, and then there was this high school kid playing bass. His name was Mitch Clay.
Oh, Mitch.
And
Totally.
so Mitch and I,
Became
we've been
friends
jamming
when they-
over 30 years with Mitch.
Cool. And Mitch is like long hair, like heavy
He
metal,
was like
man.
long hair, heavy metal, but he was real open minded. He liked my
Yeah.
songwriting,
Cool.
and
You guys meshed well, like
we
friends.
meshed well.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always been good friends.
Cool.
So there was the Dead Sea Pedestrians, and we played a couple of gigs.
Yeah.
And then I was spending so much time in Wichita, and then the drummer was going off to college or something, so it kind of fizzled out. But then Technicolor Head Rush started out, and Kirk was like, "Dude, I want you to be my guitar player in my band."
Right.
It's like,
Because he came from Red Lizard.
yeah.
And so Red Lizard dissolved.
Red Lizard dissolved, and I said, "I know a bass playing kid."
Uh-huh.
And then I went and found Mitch Clay, and he was perfect for it. And then we had
It was.
VJ Barrett, who's the drummer of
Okay.
Van Gogh Soul,
Okay. Yep.
and
You come
Yeah.
all together.
we came all together.
Technicolor Head Rush.
Yeah.
And you played a lot of times at Michael Carmody's entrepreneurship.
Oh, the Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
We were to play that night that it got shut down. I never made it into the building.
You didn't?
And our band never played because the police shut it down because there was
too many people.
800 kids.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I never made it into the bar.
That's crazy.
And I showed up with my guitar and my amp and my stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, there was police everywhere. There were
chaos.
Yeah. Kids were running out.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell my mom.
That's great. So then from Technicolor Head Rush, then what for you from there? Did you?
Well, then
you guys played quite a little while, like.
It was 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And we had a new drummer by the Juggernaut closing.
Was that John?
It was Nick.
Nick. Okay.
Yeah. So then I'd met John Azell. Mm-hmm. He was playing with Milo's Trance, and I was super impressed with his drumming. And so after Technicolor Head Rush, Mitch and John and I started this band. We never did any gigs, but it was called Hula Popper.
Hula Popper?
Yeah.
Cool. And it was just a 3-piece band?
It was just a 3-piece. And I wrote a bunch of what turned into Scroat Belly stuff with Hula Popper because Scroat Belly was basically just Hula Popper. Because Kirk had actually started this band called Scroat Belly,
right?
Which was an acoustic band with Steve and Eric.
Eric and Steve, and that's it, right? Dave,
and
Lawrence?
Kirk, no, Dave.
Just the 3-piece.
Yeah, just the 3-piece.
Okay.
And so he's like, let's merge our bands. And so we.
And that's exactly what he sounds like too. Let's merge our bands.
Let's merge our bands.
Man, this band would be so much better with your band too.
So we did that, and Scroat Belly was born. And
okay, and from the Great Alaskan Holiday album, this is Wayne Gottstine with Scroat Belly from 1995. One More Joe.
Tall one, those lasting small ones were not enough to make me forget what I need. One more Joe, it's 2 in the morning. Tomorrow's haunting me, so pass me the bottle as I walk out the door. I never thought the girl could drive this boy insane. I never thought the girl could drive this boy to drink. Yeah, no one mojo, I might get a tall one. Those lasting small ones were not enough to make me forget what I need. One mojo, it's 2 in the morning. Tomorrow's haunting me, so pass me the bottle as I walk out the door. I never thought the girl could drive this boy insane. I never thought the girl could drive this boy to drink. Make it wrong. I never thought the girl could drive this boy insane. I never thought the girl could drive this boy to drink. Yeah, but one more Joe, I might get a tall one. Those lasting small ones were not enough to make me forget what I need. One more Joe, it's 2 in the morning. Tomorrow's haunting me, so pass me the bottle as I walk out the door.
Yeah.
that
And then other people had obligation or fell by the wayside or
Yeah.
whatever. And it became Scroat Belly, you, Kirk,
John
and Mitch.
Yeah.
Which was a great band. Just awesome. Which became Split Prayfield, really. I mean,
exactly. It was
yeah.
it was the birth of that.
It was what was the drive behind making music that was sort of bluegrass but also hard rock, and was it all of you kind of with your ideas or the songwriting that got that kind of going?
It was mainly songwriting driven.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Scroat Belly is, John had 5 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all school age. They were all little, and it was too much of a juggle for him, and which is completely understandable.
Yeah.
And Jeff had made that gas tank bass, and he started taking it he was our merch guy, but he was taking this bass on the road with him when we were
He was experimenting with making that.
touring and
Right.
out playing shows. Like we played a Scroat Belly show at Brownie's in Manhattan in New York.
Okay.
And Jeff had bought his bass, and after the Scroat Belly show, we just went out in the street with Split Lip.
Like busking or...
Kind of busking, yeah.
And they just like ate it up. Like
They ate it up. I mean, we made like $100 in 45 minutes. The police came to watch.
Yeah.
And
Of course, it's New York.
people were tipping us beers, and
We just had a hell of a time.
it was crazy. And so we were right outside the bar that we just played, and it was like the Bloodshot showcase for the CMJ Fest. We were at the CMJ.
It's kind of like the South by Southwest
Yeah.
of New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we were there.
And John Izell, who had the 5 kids, and he was there.
He actually wasn't there. Derek Etheridge.
You had to call in a replacement
We had to
drummer
call in
because he couldn't go
Derek,
there
because he
right?
couldn't go.
Because he was starting to get busy with his own life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we had Derek Etheridge
Okay.
came and did those kind of things.
Okay.
And then he's a fabulous drummer, and he still lives in Wichita.
Yeah. Cool.
Probably the most educated drummer I've ever played with.
Like educated as
Well,
musically educated.
Yeah, he might have a PhD in.
You're talking about someone like even going further than that and having just the concepts, music concepts, and things like that.
Well, yeah, just his academic approach. I mean, he went to school for his percussion.
Okay.
And, whereas I sat in my room to learn guitar.
Right. That was Scroat Belly, and then it kind of is evolving into Split Lip. You took some time in between those a little bit?
Yeah.
Things happen. You get on the road a long time, I always notice. And you need a break. You need a vacation from each other. And it's the same like with anything. If you do a hard project at home, you need a break.
Exactly.
So
You do.
yeah, you do. You started or founded Split Lip and signed with Bloodshot too.
Yeah.
So they just signed you, like we're dissolving this.
They
and
did
we're
the
doing
first
this?
album without me. I wasn't on the first record.
You were working. You were doing another thing.
I was doing another thing. I had a 2-year-old child at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and
Evan, which we love. It's good seeing him growing up on pictures and things like
Yeah.
that I see. So that's cool.
yeah, he's 25 now.
And he lives in
Providence, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. I always want to say Connecticut, but it looks like a kind of like a farm or something, or like a farm town. I don't know.
Well, he lived in Hudson, New York for a while.
Okay.
Which was a small town, and he worked at this distillery in this like 150-year-old barn.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah, it was.
And he bought a dog or something like that.
He adopted a coonhound,
Yeah.
and he's a pretty good dog. He's a real loving dog, but he freaks out at tiny animals.
Well, coonhounds are known not to be very vocal.
Yeah.
They're very vocal.
Yeah,
So they tell you everything
yeah, they do.
all the time.
But he's a good dog. He doesn't like
Things.
Jeeps. specifically Jeeps and these little automated cars in Providence called little roadies.
Okay.
That are kind of shaped like Jeeps.
Okay.
He hates those.
Why? Why?
Well,
Jeeps,
I don't know, because Evan has a Jeep, and I think that Grady, that's the dog's name. I think he thinks somebody's stealing his Jeep.
Okay.
When he sees one of those,
So he
like,
just goes crazy.
yeah, he's like, "What are you doing with my car?
Hey, that's my
Bring
car,
my car
man.
back."
And or if it's those little roadies, he thinks that's his Jeep too.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the top of them are shaped the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was living in Hudson. Now he lives in
Now
Rhode
he's in
Island.
Providence.
And what's he do there? What's he do?
He's working at a restaurant there. He's
Okay.
a bartending
Yeah.
at this vegetarian restaurant.
Is he a vegetarian too?
No,
No, he eats meat.
yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
he's an omnivore.
But he got away, and he got away from Wichita, and
Yeah.
that's kind of this is what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
And doing well. You went
He's
and
doing
visited
well.
him.
I just got back a couple of weeks ago. Went and saw him.
Was it nice and cool there?
We were wearing jackets at night.
Oh man.
Yeah, and this is
Although-
just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 weeks.
But
ago.
maybe the winter's pretty cold.
Well, they get a lot when they moved in March. They got like a 14-inch snow to help them move in.
No, thank you. I love the cool in the summertime, but once it gets wintertime, I'm like, not so much. Not so
I
much.
like it when it gets super cold, like when it's 10 below 0 and the wind is blowing super hard and there's ice everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's reminding you that you need to stay alive.
Yeah.
I like that kind of cold.
You do?
Yeah.
But not to be out in it, right?
Oh yeah, that's like when you're on the verge of like, this weather can kill me. I've never felt so alive.
Right.
It's like I
Because
must keep myself alive.
I'm almost dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this.
So it's reminding you of your mortality,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of
I
weather
like food like that. Like
Well, the
food
worst
that
kind of
makes
weather
you cry.
yeah.
I'm like, I love this food.
Me too. I don't know if you remember that Holmes salsa that was local around here, and they made
yeah.
this extra spicy.
Yes.
That I mean,
It'll make you cry.
yeah,
And like turn
just,
red and
you
flat.
pop the lid
Yeah.
and it'll make you
If you
cry.
sniffed
You don't
it.
even put it in
Yeah.
your mouth yet.
It's basically like pepper spray,
Yeah,
only for chips.
yeah, only for chips. Definitely, I love that place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the worst kind of weather, it's like 70 degrees. I
Why?
mean, there's no challenge at all. There's no challenge.
That's
at
my
all.
favorite, man.
You just
I'm
go
just like,
out.
oh, this is temperate.
It's not.
I'm a fair weather
Doesn't
person.
it doesn't hurt you? It doesn't remind you to drink water, or it doesn't
Nothing.
remind you to
Yeah.
put another coat on.
No, you
It's
just you could just be new
Like
and
you
walk
forget
out
it's
here.
there.
Yeah,
You forget it's there.
and you can't
Whereas, like,
appreciate it
today-
or hate it.
You know what? It's 102 degrees outside today.
It feels like 110 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that
So
reminds you to stay alive.
it's like you're walking around in a convection oven out
Yeah,
there.
or a giant's mouth or something.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad out
It's
there.
perfect. It's
perfect for you.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
good
kind-
on the bones, though.
Yeah.
I must say. Now, I'm always a fan of a hot sauna,
Yeah.
and that's what it reminds me of. I'm like, oh, my back's feeling better. Oh, my back. I don't feel a thing.
And Scrote Belly has been going again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what version is that? Is that
It's me, John, and Mitch.
you, John and Mitch? Cool. Yeah, I saw you guys play at Kirby's.
Yeah,
That was fun.
yeah,
I bought a shirt. It's a good shirt.
yeah.
Nice
Sure.
soft shirt.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm all about those soft shirts now,
Yeah.
like the American Apparel shirts with the.
So nice. They're a little smaller though. Like when you wash them, they kind of shrink up a little more.
Yeah.
So you got to get a size larger. Which, I mean, you can always just size up. So just wash them. Wash your shirts, people. It's nasty. What else are you doing besides a few shows? And are you working at all? Are you doing
No,
any?
I'm
Are you
not.
teaching at all?
I'm not teaching or working. I'm just I've been
kind of on
kinda
retirement right now.
practicing my guitar
Yeah.
and writing some new stuff.
You are
Yeah,
putting some new stuff together.
yeah.
For yourself or whatever.
For whatever, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to write a bucket full of songs that, so when I practice with Split Lip, I can say, "What do you think about this song?" Or
Yeah.
you know, and when I'm with Scrote Bell, I can be like, "What do you think about this song?"
Right?
So
So you can pull out some new stuff. It
sometimes
keeps your
I'll-
creativity going.
yeah,
and-
sometimes I'll play the song with both of those bands to see which band it might work with best.
yeah. And you can do that as the writer. You can
Yeah.
kind of be like, oh, that kind of sucked. Let's try something different, or that really caught my ear. Let's do this more, or something like that.
Exactly.
So that's cool. So you're just kind of being artistic right now and seeing where the road takes you.
Pretty much.
All right. Have you ever been inspired by someone, and do you have a story about that?
This was a very inspirational moment in the past couple of years, as Evan and I went to New York to go see Springsteen.
Okay.
And it was just awesome.
Yeah.
The show was fantastic. But at one part of the show, this like 10-year-old girl had this sign that said, "I know every word to Blinded by the Light. Try me." And so Bruce reaches down, pulls this 10-year-old girl on stage, and then he starts playing Blinded by the Light real quiet. She's got this real quiet little voice. And everybody in the stadium just, it's just total silence. All you can hear is Bruce's guitar playing real quiet, and then she starts out, "Madman, drummers, bummers, and Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat." Real quiet voice, and he's playing real quiet with her. The band's not playing. And then we get to, and everybody's just like, oh, just this
Like
moment.
really, yeah.
And then when it gets to the chorus, 20,000 people whisper, "Blinded by the light."
Cool.
And it was just,
Something.
I mean, you could
like
see chills on everybody. It was just this electric moment that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like you're all one thing during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of really inspiring as an artist that you could someday maybe shoot for, you know.
Yeah, you could look out over the crowd. There were no cell phones out. There was no, it was just all these people in the moment, which seems rare these days.
It does, yeah. But I really appreciate you coming.
I appreciate
and
you having me.
You're a wonderful guy, and I just love you so much.
Well, you're wonderful. I love you back.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Well, I, for one, really enjoyed talking with Wayne, and it was this summer, and now it's the winter, and who knows, things work out in such ways that we just never know. I hope everything is well with everyone out there. Wayne, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Learned just a bunch, and just like you even more now. So it's not like I said dislike, but I said I just like. Oh, God. All right, guys. Like, follow, catch a pocket. I hope you guys catch a pocket you can be proud of. Boom. Take us out with my very favorite song that Wayne wrote. 3-2 flute. Here we go.
Didn't make it to work again, darling. I didn't make it to Ma's house for lunch. I didn't make it to see Grandpa down at the courthouse. Didn't make it, but you had